help me welcome Alexander Payne and Pennebaker.
I don't know if the kids today realize the golden age we live in, which is we have repertory houses like film streams, and then they can watch almost any film.
This is totally a golden age. Film culture isn't just in the cities we expect to find it in, New York, LA, university towns. Look at the theater you're sitting in, and look at the kinds of films that it can play, and look at the audience that comes out for this. It's a testament to Rachel and everybody here at Film Streams that I think are bravely foraging for things that audiences will find exciting.
I was a liberal arts major in college, and I took a lot of film history and criticism classes, and I was also coming home to Omaha and not finding a lot of the movies I wanted to see. So I sort of just had this epiphany that I should start a Cinematheque in Omaha. So then in 2000, I moved out to New York City with no work experience to try to figure out how to do it. And the first thing I did when I moved out there was I took a month-long course in arts administration at NYU. And I just learned the structure of a nonprofit organization, how to balance fundraising and the necessities of being sustainable with really being true to the art. The mission was to enhance the cultural environment of Omaha through the presentation and discussion of film.
Rachel developed this amazing board. And so by the time we were ready to open, there was just a lot of excitement about what this could be.
We're able to raise $1.7 million, basically build from the ground up. And then we opened the Dundee Theater in 2007.
We had a goal, by the end of that first year, we wanted 500 members. And we had 500 by the time we opened our doors. Alexander Payne is the Omaha native, director of Citizen Ruth, Election, Sideways, About Schmidt, The Descendants, Nebraska, Downsizing. From the very beginning, he's been just a huge, huge supporter of film streams.
We were really lucky because Alexander Payne got really excited about what we were doing and joined our board. He actually curated the first series that we did here, and the first film that we showed was Seven Samurai. And it was so incredible, a full house of 200-seat theater, 35mm print, just an incredible experience.
It had been Rachel and my dream early on that if the Dundee Theater, which is the neighborhood movie palace where I grew up, that if they ever went out of business, it would be our destiny to take over the Dundee Theater. And so it was.
The Dundee Theater closed for 3 years, beginning in 2013, saying that it was going to be closed for renovations and that they would reopen. And eventually, Denny Moran, who was the owner, kind of put it out in the paper and said, look, I'm not going to run this place anymore. I hope someone else will come in and do it. Susie Buffett, she's Warren Buffett's daughter. She was immediately like, Rachel, why don't I buy the theater? And so she did. She ended up buying the theater and she donated the building itself to us. So then it was our responsibility to raise the money to renovate it. And it only took us 2 years to raise the money. We ended up spending $5 million on the renovation. Now that we have this spectrum of 300 seats, 206 seats, 96 seats, and 25 seats, we're able to offer hundreds of films every year that might not have made it to a screen in Omaha before, that other people might not have heard of, and people are making all these different connections around it. I think Alexander being involved has been really, really essential to our success. It helps us raise money, it helps us have this really strong board, it helps us do some really fun and great programs because he has a lot of friends who are cinephiles. But it also just supports, this really wide variety of things.
We're very excited to have you here tonight for a very special 15-year anniversary screening of Sideways.
As a board member of Film Streams, Rachel and I reckoned early on that one contribution I could make is help produce a big fundraiser. We call it Feature. So once every year or two, I invite a cinema luminary to come to Omaha, and we do a retrospective of his or her films. And we also ask the person to choose 2, 3, 4 films which have inspired him or her, and we showed those. And this year we're doing Paul Giamatti. And it's become a really groovy event and much anticipated. And every year, I'm very proud to say we raise more and more money for this magnificent nonprofit Cinematheque.
It's funny, you come to a place like this and the arts are huge here. The film stuff is huge, but everything, there's the opera and all this stuff here, and it seems like the arts are keeping this place, like sustaining it in a lot of ways, which is really cool.
Tonight, over 1,800 of us will enjoy a conversation between two of cinema's greatest artists, the ultimate example of the kind of engaging and entertaining experiences Film Streams produces year-round.
At only 52, his IMDb page lists over 100 film and television credits. They call him an everyman, but I think that's an understatement. He can convincingly play anything. I've often thought that if you could take all 7.5 billion people on Earth and kind of mash all their faces together, you'd wind up with Paul Giamatti. And here is Paul Giamatti. We haven't really had this conversation. The picture's 15 years old now. So what do you remember about making Sideways
Holy
together?
cow. I remember every second of making that movie.
Remember what?
I remember every single second of making that movie.
Just spin the memory wheel.
Oh my God, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, a lot of what I remember is actually being off camera with Tom. I still think of shit that he said.
Yeah.
That I can still cry laughing, thinking about stuff that he said. I mean, because he's completely unhinged. He's completely off. He's totally off the leash, off camera.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, he's just out of his mind and very, very funny. But everything about it. I can't, I don't know where to begin with that. It's like everything about it, every second of it was joy.
Our mission is about film, but our mission is so much about Omaha too. It's so much about community and our place in the community.
Rachel Jacobson is a firebrand here in Omaha. She came back in her late 20s with this dream. And Film Streams fulfills the dream, not just about showing movies in Omaha, but she has this larger and ever-expanding mission for what the role of cinema can be. It's not just about entertainment, but it's about issues, and it's about ideas.
The best way to cultivate an audience is through partnering with different nonprofits and really bringing people to the films who don't necessarily know how powerful film can be, attracting people who have different interests, because there's films about everything, and there's good films about just about everything.
There's a reverence for movies and watching movies in the community of movie watching here that you can't find elsewhere. We meet other filmmakers here all the time, other movie lovers, moviegoers. It's fun to see who is picking the same movies that you are, and you keep running into the same people around the same time. That community part of it is all of it, really.
We have two versions of an education program at Film Streams. One is the daytime education program, where we bring students to the theater for free for a screening and discussion, and that's programmed all school year round. And then we have courses, which is an adult education program, which there's 5-week seminars on film topics ranging from the silent film era to female comedians to Pedro Almodovar. So the current class is the films of Sofia Coppola. So it's 5 weeks of Sofia Coppola films. Overlaps with Marie Antoinette, kind of? Yeah. Films are a way that people learn about storytelling and kind of hold that knowledge innately. But so many people are uncomfortable saying their opinions about a film or digging in and really analyzing. And my job is to just give people the confidence in their interpretations, right? And I think that confidence is something that is necessary for children, but it's also necessary for adults. And we forget that we're lifelong learners, and film is a way to learn about different cultures, different emotions, different content. We hope that Film Streams isn't didactic, but it's a classroom where people can come and play with ideas about film. Is she saying the same things about wealth and privilege in this film than she's saying in Marie Antoinette?
This film ends with us remaining complicit in the buying, selling, the commerce of everything that this film represents.
I've certainly found, being with a bunch of other passionate, intelligent film watchers, that my ability to appreciate the film is much richer, and my ability to understand what it's trying to tell me about the world is amplified in some ways.
I watch a lot of movies and I talk a lot about movies, especially after a class like today that we had. I will go home and I will tell everyone all my opinions on the auteur theory or anything else that I learned that day. We had a class on the Hays Code, and my brain was just blown, and so I tried to read different things about it, and I wanted to see more movies. I just wanted to learn more.
Arts education is really important, and I think we place so much value on what's happening in the arts on the coasts and neglecting the fact that there's a vibrant film culture in the Midwest. I think it's really important that we show that it's valuable everywhere.
I love that people might come here from Chicago or from LA and be like, wow, I couldn't get this experience where I live, and I love that you're here.
When you grow up in a place like Omaha, it always had a lot of groovy things about it, but a lot of kind of old conservative straight-laced things too. So it could have gone either way. But the fact that film streams hit Omaha just when Omaha as a city has really blossomed, it's been a really beautiful thing to watch.